Okay, thank you guys for joining for our presentation today. We are Football Engagement Solutions, also known as FES, and today we're going to be talking about how any university can increase sports visitors. I am Brad,
And I'm Madison.
and we are the founders of FES.
So, our goal for today is to help provide different universities throughout the United States and other events with the solutions to help just attract customers in a way that we believe sparks motivation. And for us at FES, our main priority is sparking motivation, and we want the ultimate customer awareness in everything that we do. One of our personal things that we really strive for is for the help of our system so that no event shall go unfulfilled again.
Yeah, so now that you know a little bit about our mission and who we are as a company and what we're striving for, I want to talk about the problems that we're trying to combat. So, like I said, we're trying to increase the amount of customers that go to a sporting event. So, what are the problems with, in particular, Marshall's football games? So, sporting events have a difficult time promoting themselves. So, a lot of football games, such as Marshall's, they um, only using on word. They're only marketing through word of mouth and other like signs, such as billboards and other like signs you'd see on the side of the road. But as we've seen in the past years, Marshall's football games have slowly been declining in the amount of people that have been, joining, coming in. So we obviously see something's not working there. There's no marketing team that I know about Marshall University. There is like a marketing team for like other little events or participation that they have, but I don't see anything just for sports, or at least just for Marshall's football team. There's a lack of social media output. I know there's a little bit of awareness on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, but there's nothing just for them. I feel like TikTok is being so underused because it's so easy to make a video. It's so easy, any sound, anything can go viral these days. Anyone has like going viral is at anyone's fingertips. And I think it'd be so cool if we could, get the football players on there and make their own little TikTok. And, if we get, a couple 100,000 or maybe a million views, people would be like, oh my God, I want to see them now. Like, I thought they were funny. Now, maybe we can ask them to make a TikTok with us, or maybe we can get special fans in a TikTok or an Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be. There's also a lack of activities that I found that really boost enjoyment. Not It's kind of like a weird way to how to put this, but not everyone goes to a football game just for the football. I don't really go to the football game for the football. It's always like other activities. So there's like no no ticket raffles, any tailgates, like a little bit of it. I know like the tailgate Marshall has, it's like a small tailgate. What did you say, Madison's like usually older people?
Yeah. Tailgating at Marshall is just predominantly families and older families, who are just there for barbecuing, and that's about it.
Yeah.
There's no really fun going on
If
for
we had to,
students in particular.
yeah, if we wanted to make another tailgate for just students, it'd be something that we want to have a little bit of fun with. And I know that Marshall does have some vendors like I think popcorn ones, and then like the actual concession stands. But with all the great restaurants Marshall has to offer, not Marshall, Huntington has to offer, uh, there's something we gotta do about that. There's like so many great food restaurants in Marshall, and even like fast foods. We have a solution for that. And then also, no matter like Marshall's football team, not team, but game is losing a sense of style. And what we mean by that is like what's making it unique and a community feel. And what I think, even if you go to like a Marshall University game and like you take all the brandedness away from Marshall, are you going to remember that as a Marshall game? Probably not. But with the help of us, we want to change that.
So for us, our benchmarking includes both insiders to the football industry and also outsiders to the industry. And we've seen from insiders is that they really like creating activities and game events so that the attendees can go and participate in and have some fun. And they also tend to market a sense of community for these people, and it's really just acting like it's you're part of the family. We also, in recent years, have tended to see a lot more of broadcasting with live television, especially on game day. And just from our different outsiders that we've seen on the in the football community, they really like in raffling off game day tickets and hosting tailgating. And many restaurants in the surrounding areas also have game day discounts on some different items that they have for offer. And we also see a lot of different activity booths and food vendors, which is always great.
Yeah. So now we're going to go through the ideas that we had to solve these problems as a company. So our first idea was to possibly set up a larger area for tailgating, where we could host raffles and other vendors for the football season. And there were some problems that we didn't think, we would have troubleshooting. So like the university was have a hard time finding an area where this could happen. I know a lot of places that Marshall University is on, it's kind of occupied by some kind of building or preoccupied space. So trying to find like a space where we could go or what it be destroyed would be hard. It only targets just certain people. So, if we couldn't find, usually it's like the student population that we want to go. And if we couldn't find a big enough area, it's going to be like real crowded, I feel like we could get hostile. There are 13,000 people that go to Marshall. So finding a big enough space where stuff that might be out of our control might be a little dangerous. And there's also like alcohol and other substances, hopefully not drugs, but alcohol and other substances that would be going on. So might not be the best idea.
Our second idea was just promote the game through different social media and use the power that different people at Marshall, especially the people in the athletic department, have to help just get the word out there. But a few troubleshooting ideas that we had with this was that social media only reaches so many people. It doesn't reach every single person, and not every single person is on social media, especially even like, yeah, a lot of older people aren't on social media as much as the younger people, but there are also a lot of younger people who aren't even on social media. And another problem we found was that it can get pretty expensive if you were wanting to market towards certain people in directed post. And so this can become very costly, and it's also very difficult to target to certain people with everyone changing every so often. And we also found that it sometimes just isn't enough to boost our customers, and we really feel like something needs to be done to really increase the attendance at games.
Yeah. So our third idea was would basically create an app so we could promote um, so all the attendees that were there could find out like where the vendors are, where parking is, or, anything about tickets or like about the season. So it'd be an app where everything could be all in one. So some problems we found with the app, which you might think is really easy to do, that someone will need to be on there constantly updating. So if we had parking on there, someone will need to fill up the parking spaces. People don't want to. I hate when you go to a football game, you can't find a parking space, especially in Huntington, where everything you have to pay for, and then you have to like walk a quarter mile, half a mile to go back to the football game. So if there was like an easy way to like, oh, this parking space is closest to you, this is how much it costs, or it's free, I would love that. Someone need to develop the app. The apps aren't too costly, but if you wanted it, how would you say, like intertwined with Marshall, it might take a little, it's
proper licensing.
Yeah, proper licensing, and to make it an actual good app, not just something slapped together. And then, in terms of developing that, we'd also have to make an Android one and an iOS one for all users.
So our final verdict the idea we chose to go with was idea number 3, and we really enjoyed the idea and the concept of having a notification reminder and an easy to use app. that really has just the ability to store your ticket and different time information and tailgating and vendor locations, different pricing on everything surrounding game day and parking, whether it's free or paid and whether it's filled up or not. And we also really just wanted to include Marshall's football stats because we thought it would be fun for our fans. We also wanted the app to have the capability for both the promoter and the attendee to just use it very nicely. And for us, we always wanted to have a added safety mechanism within the app. And so for students who are of the legal drinking age, there is an option for your MUID to be stored within the app. And that, so if you go to a vendor who does serve alcoholic beverages, you can pull up your MUID and then they will be able to know how old, if you're of legal drinking age, stuff like that.
And I also have to add, since you can make a fake ID, but you can't make a fake Marshall ID. So there's nothing could ever go wrong, hopefully. And then we want to tell you why. Here's why. So there's a capability to reach a broader audience. With this app, we can reach the most amount of people. We have the most amount of knowledge about this. We can make signs. We can create tailgates, or we can do other things, but the app is just, it incorporates everything. And we can do our first two ideas with the app. So we think this is the smartest idea. And we think out of all those ideas, we could increase the increased attendance rate the most. And the process is very simplified. There's not like a lot of building or like things we have to do. We just have to make an app and connect everyone to it. Like we have to connect the vendors to the app, connect Marshall to the app, connect the parking spaces. There's a lot of behind the scenes, but nothing like physically we'd have to so much do.
And so for us, we decided to include our solution demo. And this is specifically for an Android device that we have on here, but it would look relatively, actually almost identical if it was on a iOS device. And so as you see in our first image in the bottom right-hand corner, that's our little running person with our preferred logo, which we'll get into in a second. And as you can see in step 2, that's just our home page. And it has all of in our drop-down menu, it has our ticket information and our game day and all of this stuff, your MUID and your settings. And for example, in the third step, in our third little telephone, you can see in specific the vendor locations and where they are located relative to your current location, as it's along 20th Street and the stadium, of course.
Yeah. So now that you know how our app works, like we was mentioning, we have some app display options. So when you download our app from the App Store or Google Play Store, it would have the default little running person. But once you sign in through Marshall or any other college football game team, you could change the logo to your preferred setting. So for Marshall, for instance, we have 5 different logos we choose that best represent Marshall. So like the first one's for some old timies. Second one shows a little bit of West Virginia, such as the fourth one as well. And then the third and fifth one just are some really unique ones that have the bison and the little Marshall logo.
So what is to come in the future? So in order for our app to be very feasible, there are a few critical loafers that we have to take into account. And the first one being that the app has to run pretty seamlessly, and it needs to have the ability that both our promoter and our attendee need to know how to use the app, obviously. And all the information for game days needs to be communicated very clearly so that our users know exactly when and where and how to get there. And it also provides a ticketing services and how they need to work with all different types of devices. So in order for our app to be feasible, we also need to run a few different tests on it, that including a diagnostic analysis that we will run prior and post game, but we can also run anytime throughout the game to see who's been on the app and how long somebody's used it, and how well they're enjoying it. And we also would like to have a section within the app, within the settings in particular, that includes a little comment section where people can report any bugs or any suggestions that they may have to just make the overall user have a better time while using our app. And then for our third little test that we thought of, we would definitely provide a number and a email address for users to be able to call us or email us at any time throughout game day, anytime in regular days out of the week, but especially on game day, so we can answer any questions that they may have.
Yeah, and just to add on to yours, Madison, we could also have direct user feedback. So if anyone wanted to rate like the different vendors or any like the tailgating or any raffles, they could give like a rating or a review. So if one food truck wasn't as doing as good as others, we could like swap them out and vice versa. So now to talk about our conclusion, we want you to help us on our mission to change all football games at Marshall University forever. We want to inspire and pack the experience ticket goers and students have at each game. So, will you join us and Deadwood Band today for an exclusive look at how we are shaping your next game?
With that, I thank you for listening to our presentation, and the floor is now open to any questions that anyone may have.
Hey, I was your presenter, Brad Jones.
And I was Madison. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening.